the Berlin Conservation Commission meeting of December 6th, 2023. As a matter for everybody's knowledge, open session public meetings are subject to being recorded. Your voice and image will be recorded. All right, let's get down to business. Minutes.
So they came out pretty late. They came
Okay.
out at like
Okay.
6 o'clock today.
All right, so we're gonna table that because I didn't get a
Yeah.
chance to review that. And how goes the treasurer's report?
All right. So I did reach out to June, and she said she would sit down with me and go
Okay.
over all our accounts. She was just waiting to get information from the treasurer
Okay.
to report on it.
How much is left over? How much have you spent?
Not sure.
You don't,
Right. I know it's small.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
small.
it's-
Yeah.
Usually we have like our MACC dues in the summer, and then
Yeah.
there's like a couple of, I don't think we've spent much, so I would say we probably have like 12 to 1,500 from our budget. I would think.
1,500?
12 to 1,500, I would think. I don't think we've spent much from what I've seen.
Right.
So, and then, but the big issue is like the open space account, like after the lower property sale. The accounting just went wonky, and we haven't seen ledgers of where the town accountant put everything, and so we
Okay.
kind of need that reconciliation to straighten out some of the other accounts.
Got it.
So,
Yep.
but, yeah, you and I probably could, we should just
We could
find a
do the
time
budget,
to,
yeah.
yeah, we could do the budget one together.
Yeah.
So, we'll have to, I know we said that last
Yeah.
time.
We have a couple weeks to start.
Yeah,
I know, I should have reached out
exactly.
last week. Last
Yeah.
week I had nothing going on at night. This week I've had something every night.
All right. Bills and forms.
All right. So we do have a KP Law bill that came in. Just general, looking over emails. I'm assuming it's all related to Carter Street.
Gotta be. That's all we're doing with them.
Yeah.
$625. They charged us $1 for telecommunication charges. So glad they're not our attorneys anymore. Well, $625.01.
Can we put that towards, well, I don't know if we can put that towards the open space, but in theory, if we have money, can we put that towards the open space? Okay.
If, yes.
We'll just put it towards open space and cross our fingers.
Right? Do you want to make a motion?
I will make a motion to pay KP Law $625 for Carter Street
And 1 cent.
and 1 cent from
Second.
the open space account.
Second.
Yeah, right. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All right. So we've got that.
All right. And then MACC just kind of gave us a heads up of what they expect our dues to be
Next
for
year.
next year.
Yep.
So they're expecting $461.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's-
increased by 2%.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, it's close to what we paid last year.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. And that's it?
Pretty much it does, or, yep, for bills and forms.
What about mail and notices?
So mail-in notices, so we did receive information that they'll be having a hearing for 203 Crosby. They're looking to add an additional dwelling into that house.
Yep, and that's a ZBA hearing?
Yep, that's a ZBA hearing. So on December 13th, at 7:30, they'll be discussing an in-law apartment at 203 Crosby Road.
And they meet on Zoom.
Yep, it
Yep.
is on Zoom.
Louise, you usually go to their meetings anyway, right?
Which meeting?
ZBA?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they want to add an in-law apartment, so we had heard they were removing a dwelling from their property and then adding.
No,
an
they were
addition.
just renovating it.
Right,
Yeah.
that was what
It
I
wa-
was saying last meeting, when that went through, what they were gonna do.
Well,
Remember?
yeah,
Yeah,
we knew they were gonna, they said they were gonna do that. You have to go to ZBA to get an accessory dwelling unit.
special permit.
Correct.
Yeah.
So they wanted to update the septic, and we approved it conditionally on them on ZB.
Well, this was a different one. Wasn't this the one
Oh,
that they were?
that's right, that was Dudley.
Yep.
This is Crosby.
Yep,
right.
so they were
Yeah,
moving-
but we knew they were gonna do that
Yeah.
too. So, oh, I see what you, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
They did remove that other house.
Right.
Have they?
I don't know. It's not my purview. We don't care.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep,
Cool.
that's going on.
Yep. But does it say attached or detached? Just out of curiosity. Doesn't. You should go. See what they say. It's on Zoom. Okay. What else we got?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, there hasn't been, there was an email from CSX.
Yep, CSX. So I reached out to Tom Rabula at the EP. He pretty much just said, go ahead with the order conditions, which I have. If we want to sign off on it. He said that happens with some of those properties.
Right.
So he said, just go ahead and file the order conditions without the information.
Okay.
So if you guys want to
Does
sign off on
everybody
that.
remember what the issue was with that?
Which one was this?
So this is CSX, the train derailment
Oh,
of Vallon Road.
right.
So the issue was the right-of-way didn't have a deed reference number to it at all.
Oh, okay.
Because it's train land, railroad-owned land, so
Yep.
it's just handled differently.
I'm sure we voted, but let's vote again, just to make sure. Can I have a motion to issue the order of conditions to, oh, it is to CSX, yeah. To CSX so they can finish the repair work from the train derailment this summer.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All right.
Just as a point of interest, the pile of buckets is still there
Great.
at the Linden Street crossing.
I'll go this way first. This way.
I love that signature.
Put this down there for now. Excellent, thank you. All right, and you'll make copies and get that mailed, certified, and all the fun stuff that has to happen. Anything else?
I think that pretty much does it.
All right. Well, why don't we get started? Who's coming up? All right. John. Pat, you want to come over and have a seat?
So, as was requested from us, we had topography shot throughout the site. The purpose of this topography was to show the areas where there was regrading that was going to be required adjacent to the foundations. The surveyor, as I said, they tied into, and I spoke with him this afternoon, I got the email I saw this morning, and I checked with the surveyor. What they did was, there were all the sewer manholes, all those were as-built locations from Cornerstone, and I had contacted them, and they had tied into a benchmark that was on NAVD 88. So everything that is shown here is on NAVD 88. With that said, the purpose of the plan wasn't to provide a complete as-built with every rim, invert, drainage outfall, because none of that has anything to do with showing areas where we need micro topography, where we're changing grades by 6 to 8 inches.
So that was your understanding?
I-
We asked for as-built of the basin, and we asked for as-built of the swale, because we were waiting to understand the capacity of the swale so that we could approve or not the storage plan, the snow storage plan. So it was more than just the grading around the buildings that we were looking for, because we were looking to verify the basin. We were looking to verify the swale.
After I saw his email this morning, I contacted everybody on the team, and I said, am I missing something here? We were never tasked with providing a complete as-built for the basin. We had done an analysis of the basin in March of 2022. With that, we did a hydraulic analysis of it, we modified an outlet to it, and then the last thing that we were tasked with between Matt and Mr. Russo was to drain the basin, make sure the bottom is clean, there's no silt. That was done. Andy can speak better to that. After he drained it, and I took a look at it, there was a little bit of algae on the bottom from when there was stagnant water in it. But the bottom of the basin, there was still stone, there was no anything of any significance in terms of silt in the bottom of it.
And did anybody corroborate that? Because at this point, I don't really have a lot of trust in anything about this project. So,
You can have someone inspect it. Andy can speak to that as well as anybody.
I did pump it out, took it down to nothing in there. There was algae from stagnant water sitting there that just sits on the bottom, but across the whole middle, the 1.5-inch stone was still there heading to the outlet control. The inlet pipe where all the riprap is was still clean riprap. I was walking through the whole pond. After that was done, I know that Steve had a couple of, I think, a few folks here were out there. There was another, was there a third engineer, Matt, you'd know?
James
The other gentleman's
Tatro.
name.
Yeah, it was James Tatro.
James Tatro, he was out, there was 4 different people out there, and looked at the bottom before it got water in again,
okay,
and it was clean.
did anybody produce anything that they would sign or stamp or verify?
I think it was all field verified from 3 different engineers, is all I got out of it.
Okay, so, but there's nothing that you can give us other than the guy said?
I don't have any paperwork.
Okay.
no.
Okay,
I'm sure they can write letters to the fact and statements.
that's not stamped either. At least the emailed copy that we got wasn't stamped.
And this really just identifies areas that will walk through with the building inspector, with the project manager, and they documented areas where grades, again, micro topography, grades have to go down by 6 inches. And there's nothing that is going to alter any drainage patterns. There's nothing that would flow into any resource areas. Anything that would flow into catch basins or into, and again, it's minor in nature. And it's
Right.
300, 400, 500 feet away from any resource area. There's on the edge of this buffer zone, there's a little bit of grading there. And we were saying, throw some straw wattles there. And I had a couple of pictures in there, and there was a 2-foot step in a foundation for a stretch that was maybe 5 or 6 feet, where the foundation stepped down, the grade was right there. And for the most part, that's what it is throughout the entire site. Even having topography to show that really is useless, because again, you're changing grades by 6 or 8 inches here or there, and then just making sure it pitches away from the building. There's no major grading that you can even show, because it's less than a foot.
Right, so Matt, at our last meeting, you asked if we were going to vote to approve the snow storage. And do you remember when I said, once we get the topography of the swale, we'll understand whether the snow can be stored there? Do you remember that conversation?
From what I remember of the conversation, I remember you saying something about receiving a finished plan. And then you wanted to go up to inspect, to check the area up off of Spofford to make sure that that area was suitable for the snow storage, because you weren't sure that that area was flat enough. You thought it might have been, what do you call it, sloped down.
And that's in this area right here. If I'm right before the turnaround, on Spofford.
That's correct, because that was where I had the last snow storage.
And that's a flat area.
Pat, would you like to talk about your concerns?
Yeah, I have not been at every meeting, but I do distinctly recall that Matt did a report with recommendations roughly a month ago. Part of that report was that the basin would be investigated, it would be cleaned out if required the first week of December.
December 11th.
Yep.
Was the date I.
And I agreed and
estimated
booked
start
that on
date.
my calendar. In the meantime, the work was done. I was out of state. I didn't observe it. There's really no way for the commission to know whether the design grades that you put together last year match the existing grades without an as-built survey of the basin. And it's not sufficient to go out on the site and say, we drained it, it looks pretty good, I see the original stone. There's never been an as-built plan of the work that Andy did. And that's required to know whether the basin has sufficient storage and can meet the HydroCAD design calcs that you produced and that I reviewed a year and a half ago. So that still stands, and it's very basic, it's very standard, it's very conventional, it's what every project furnishes, particularly in a case like this where we had a tremendous amount of loam that was placed on the site in the lower portion along Wheeler Hill Road that washed directly either into the resource areas or into the basin, largely into the basin. And even Matt estimated that we might have up to 18 inches in the basin. So now we're hearing there was nothing in the basin and it's perfectly fine. So the only way to fully verify that is to get that as-built plan by a registered engineer or surveyor. Regarding snow storage, I was not at the meeting when that was being discussed, but it's not good practice to use swales as snow storage. The swales serve a distinct function, and once they're full of snow, if we have a freeze.
No, it wasn't in the
log-
swale, it was in this area. The
Okay.
swale is down here.
So is this area here that's outside the swale large enough to contain the snow for the full?
He had
road system?
multiple locations for snow storage. There was some down in the area over by where the mailboxes are.
Yep.
Another area that's down by the clubhouse, and he had an area in this location. So was it
Correct.
3, Matt?
It was just 3.
Okay, so we're not talking about putting snow in the swales?
No.
Okay.
No, and the storage plan would require that I had anything over 6 inches for a snow event in a 24-hour period, that stored snow be removed within 48 hours after the event's over. So it wasn't geared to be long-term storage.
Okay.
Because it's just, if you have a bad winter, it's just gonna keep piling up.
Sure.
Well, I think my overall impression, particularly after listening to John, is that the plan that's been furnished is well and good, but it's not really what the commission's been looking for.
Correct.
It's more actually something the building inspector might be interested in.
Well, exactly, and that was the purpose of the plan, to show what was grading that was required, pretty much for, under building code. And in terms of as-built for the detention basin, they may want to go and just make sure that if there's anything that needs to get cleaned, they'll clean it, but typically, whether it's with a subdivision or a site plan, that's at the very, very end when you're looking to get a certificate of a compliance, or if you're looking to get a road accepted, you'll make sure that everything that was designed is, at the right elevations and inverts and whatnot. So, what I understood was that we're not looking for a final certificate of compliance yet. We're not looking for a final sign-off. We're just looking at making sure that there's no issues where we're gonna get any overtopping of anything, we're gonna have any erosion control, nothing that could get into the resource areas. They're still under construction. Typically, when we're doing as-built, it's after everything is completely done. You'll make sure the basins, and the drainage, everything is done before, like I said, for a subdivision, when the road gets accepted, or if it's part of an order of conditions for a site plan, you'll do that at the very end.
Yeah, John, I happen to agree with you completely, but this is a unique situation where we have a huge amount of topsoil that's been washed into the basin. And so the commission's ongoing concern, which has now been going on for months, is whether the basin is sized, has sufficient storage.
Okay.
And the fact that we continue to ask for things.
I heard about this morning for the first time.
You heard about what?
That as-built and doing an analysis of the design of the basin versus the as-built of it.
Well,
When I saw that this morning, I spilled my coffee, because I called, I said, has anybody heard of this? I have not. This is the first I've heard of this.
The meetings are on YouTube.
And I'll go back and watch them. No, this is the first time I've heard of having an overlay of the design of the basin with the as-built. I've never heard those words said, and I'll go back.
I've never reviewed a plan that's not even stamped.
There's no engineering being done on this plan. This is for micro-topography that is really to satisfy the building code.
Right.
There's no engineering being done on this plan. There is no grading more than 6 inches. There's no drainage design. There's no pipe design. There's no hydraulic design.
But typically on an as-built plan, a surveyor will certify to its accuracy.
And I called him today. He sent me the AutoCAD of it, and I put it on here and added the information.
Right.
Everything is accurate. It's on the right datum. If you want it stamped, we can get it stamped. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, but John, you know as well as I do that drone survey work can be anywhere from a couple inches in accuracy to a couple of feet, depending on the equipment, the operator experience, the site conditions. There are all sorts of things that drive that. And typically, if a drone is accurate, plus or minus a foot in its accuracy, they're doing well. LiDAR can be more accurate than that in open conditions, which we have here, but we have no idea what the accuracy standards are. Are they typical aerial survey accuracy plus or minus 2 feet?
No,
Are they-
when I
are they
spoke to the
couple
survey, it's less than 6 inches.
Okay. That's doable using LiDAR technology, but the plan is utterly silent about that sort of thing. And when your email noted that it was drone survey work, it set up all of my alarms, because there are many standards that can work.
And again, the purpose of this plan was just to show this isn't for, an Alta survey and boundary survey. This is to show what the grades are and changes in grade that are 6 to 8 inches. And in all honesty, to have, I can't even put a contour on there, because if I'm showing a 1 foot contour, we're having changes 6 to 8 inches. to have a full-blown topo just to show where we're modifying grades this much adjacent to a foundation is overkill.
Right.
I don't
But-
think the commissioner ever asked for this plan.
I think that's the building commissioner's
Yeah, that's the.
purview.
Right, we have brought it up in conversation, but what we are interested in are the parts that we're talking about now. You also mentioned that you didn't think the 100-foot buffer zone
Correct.
delineation on this
It
map
was-
was
It
correct?
can't be, it can't be.
It was,
Maybe-
this area is
maybe here,
correct.
but this can't be.
We overlaid from the original Ducharme and Dillis plans to put the buffer zones on there. This one is accurate. There was an area here where it was overly conservative. The buffer zone is actually is
Well,
further
the
back.
wetland edge is right beyond the toe of the basin, and
Yeah,
that
no,
knows it's
this
right about here.
was, I overlaid this plan with that, and where this buffer zone is shown, it's overly conservative. The buffer zone is, no, it said like 15, 20 feet that we had overlaid.
It may be up in this area, but I would say that
This
down in the
area,
the basin, it
this
can't be.
area where the work is being proposed, this is dead on. It was overly conservative there. The 100-foot buffers is further.
Yeah, but I'm referring to this area in here. And
And again, no work, right now,
not possible that that's accurate in that area.
now, when we overlaid it
We
and
can't accept it.
throw the buffer zones on there, this was a little bit, this was too much into the site. It was overly, this is dead on. And we had just overlaid that from the original Ducharme and Dillis plan.
Which we know had multiple errors in it. But
That's the order of conditions.
yes.
Yeah, so we,
regardless,
right,
The wetland line
They had
is
it- they
still
had-
in force. I agree.
right.
Yeah.
So there's no change to the wetland line. This was over, this section here, again, no work is being proposed. It's beyond, all this work is done. That buffer zone was too conservative. And again, we just overlaid that just so you'd have an idea. Again, for the purposes of this plan, it was to show micro topography, that the changes in grade are 6 to 8 inches. But with that said, we can do an overlay of the basin, we can do, get volume calcs for what the basin is now compared to what the design is, and the elevations of all the outlets, and we can do an analysis of both.
Jared, you did that already. We did that.
Well, a year and a half ago, this is when we made modifications.
Correct, but we
to-
had the original and the overlay, we all walked it and came up with a new plan to create it, so it would go. And then, on a separate note, Pat, if you're in the area, the pond is drained out again. If you want to, feel free to, I mean, I know you can't take our word for it anyway here, but if Pat was to look at the bottom and see a clean bottom.
That's
you take
exactly
his
what.
word,
I was
we
out a
would-
couple days ago, and it's now got
It's
another
done, it'll be
foot.
done tomorrow morning, we
And
tried tomorrow
water on
morning.
it.
So if
Okay.
you're in the area and go by, I mean, if they'll accept your word for it, that the stone's still showing, there's no silt in that pond. The breach from all the loam washing out did go into the resource area, there's no question about it, but it went over the hay bales, it did not go through the pond. It did not go through the pond.
And has that been cleaned up?
That's been cleaned up months ago. They did the bucket brigade, they cleaned, that was months ago, that was already been inspected on his
That
walks.
was during July.
Yeah,
July.
that's all
Okay,
been done and
so that
cleaned.
was that
Yeah.
original.
That's what I'm saying, none of that loom went through that pond. It did not go into the inlet, it did not go into the pond that way. And you can still see it today, we pumped it out twice and it's clean, the riprap's clean, the stone's clean.
Okay, well, I would like Pat to have the opportunity
That's
to
what I'm saying,
inspect
so if
that.
we had
Yep,
his word, that would be acceptable.
yep.
So, no, let's be clear.
What?
Oh,
I'd be happy to go walk out and take a look at it.
Yep.
And take a look at the bottom of it, but I can't certify or verify that the design.
No, I'm not saying
No,
certified
no, no.
as-built, I'm
This
saying
is
see if
just-
the water's clean.
If I could interject,
I'd be happy to.
if I could just for a minute. Patrick, we had just gone over my plan. My plan, I know the dates were off, apparently they jumped the gun, which is fine. They drained the basin, that's awesome. They did a good job getting it done. What it called for after getting it drained was for you and I, or one of the crew and you, to go out there and inspect what the condition is currently after it was drained, before it's touched. We can go out, we can take a look at it. If anything needs to come out, then we go in, pull material out, if anything at all needs to come out. And then you can come back and re-inspect after that's done, if you find that's even necessary. It may not even be necessary. I haven't seen the basin fully drained yet, that was just done. I did see it.
It's tough back up some. It's
I
got a
saw it
foot
mostly
headwater on
drained, and it actually looked pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised.
That's
So-
wonderful.
We'll just,
Yep.
that was what the plan called for, even though the date was a little early. The ground is actually in the condition I was hoping it would be in. So it's a good time. So
Okay.
it actually worked out pretty well.
Great.
Also, if you can go by and look at that and satisfy them, saying it's clean, not just the bottom's clean.
Right.
And we don't touch it again, because it's going to fill back up again.
Sure,
I mean,
of
it's
course,
like
yeah.
we put there 24 hours a day for the rest of our natural lives. It's gonna fill back up again.
Well, if you can get in touch with me and tell me when it's dry.
If you wanna go
I
back,
can
I'd
pop
say
out
by
there.
10 o'clock tomorrow morning, I'll make sure of it, I'll call you, but
Okay.
I'd say by 10 AM tomorrow, it'll be, you could walk through the pond.
Okay, call me.
Walk right up, I'll
me
call you in the
tomorrow.
morning, yes.
Okay.
If I could be included in this loop, that'd be great.
Okay?
Talk to this guy.
Thanks.
At least that'll suffice that end of it.
Sure, absolutely.
That's about
Yeah.
extending my pay grade, what I can do with it.
Okay, so in terms of grading around foundations, this was, part of how this was generated was the project supervisor going through with the building inspector. We put a list here so then they say when the grading is done, they can check it off, keep a running tally, so that that's building department. What I will do tomorrow is do an analysis of the volumes of and which I already have the analysis of the volumes from the design plan, in all the HydroCAD modeling and the outlets. The only other information we'll get is the as-built elevation and inverts from the outlet control structure. And then we can do a full analysis of the volumes of it and the outlets and just make sure it's apples for apples.
We got an email today. Just push this all short armed here. We got an email today about drilling behind. I don't know if the person who sent that email, it was one of the Wheeler Road addresses.
Berlin.
Yep.
I sent that to you.
Okay, what unit number?
We're in 9.
In 9, okay. I know, these are lot numbers. Oh, no, there's the unit
No,
numbers
those are-
also.
We have addresses.
I thought you said dwelling.
Number 9
That's what I thought.
over here.
Okay.
I'm crazy.
Right there.
So if you could look at that also, the pictures, it definitely seemed to be, a channel was being created, for sure. And then the other thing I would like to bring up is, who's gonna talk to the landscaper about dumping leaves and pine needles in the buffer zone? Thank you. Super bad idea, and was really not happy when we saw this.
Being totally blunt, so was I.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Not acceptable. Now, I know that landscapers do tend to do that, but we're having so many issues up here, if someone could make it ultra clear to them that that is never to happen again, that would be great. Do you want these?
Cool.
So,
Okay.
yeah, is there anything else that we need to discuss this evening? I think we're not going to do resident comments tonight, unless it's about the email that you sent.
Yes.
Okay.
If I could have just a short meeting of minds before or after looking at the pond issue, I think that would be great. It's a very simple, pales by comparison to the larger picture, but I think it would be important for the residents in that area.
Sounds like I'll be out tomorrow, and if I am, I'll walk back and take a look.
Which number was this?
Number
Nine.
9. And
Nine-wheeler.
I'm happy, I'll be at home. and-
Is it across from where that
Okay,
parking is?
okay,
Is it the unit on the right?
Yep. I've never been back here. My focus has been down here.
Excellent. All right. We meet January 3rd.
Okay. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
So is it clear what we're gonna want on January 3rd?
I hope so. I believe so.
It's all in the minutes. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Excellent.
Thank you,
Good to
Pat.
see you.
Good to see you.
Good to be seen.
That's always true.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you. Look forward to your report for after tomorrow.
I'll let you know.
All right. Thank you.
Do you see we're potentially getting 1 to 2 inches of rain this weekend?
So it's flash flooding on Sunday.
Yep.
Excellent.
So put that loose.
Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda, Mark Rhodes. The room feels so empty.
I know.
I know.
Can't feel it quite the same way.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate that, Mark. I'm getting tired of those crowds.
Right?
It's exhausting.
It's to the point where I know most of them by first name.
And I see them at the gym.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
God,
run
really?
into them in the supermarket. Yeah.
One supermarket.
Yep. Yep.
Well, it is getting
Should I write Berlin?
a small.
Yeah, it's good.
All right.
All right.
So what do you got for us?
Well, the appraisal, I'll have the appraisal, land off of Dudley Road, approximately 13 acres. I have this meeting with you guys and then with the selectmen next week. Selectmen were brought up to speed by the new assistant, I don't know her name.
The new Mary.
Yeah, the new Mary, yeah. This is
Yep.
a reduced layout to show all the properties. You guys might have to share. Pretty close. There we go.
So there you go.
The
Yeah.
it has the current assessor's card, which lists the acreage and the assessed value. The appraisal's in progress to make things legal. And the parcel in red is the parcel intent for donation. And what the town assessor's maps failed to show was all of the parcels that either conservation or the town owns. So
Right. Well, I know we actually just
You
got
guys
the little
own that
piece.
one?
Yeah.
this one you were gonna get from
Karina.
Karina.
And we did.
And this one I believe you got?
We got 2 from Karina, but
That'd be
one
these
of
two.
them is over the frontages on Gates Pond Road.
I was gonna
Okay.
say, I'm trying to orient myself here. Where-
Right. So, if I'm right, this
Dudley
is,
Road is here.
and this is Marlborough Road.
And,
I mean,
yeah,
River Road?
this road here is Marlborough Road. And this is Dudley Road.
right.
And this would be the
is
Hudson line.
Marlborough Road. This is Dudley Road. Right.
Gotcha, okay.
Dudley, Marlborough, and Gates Pond Road.
And Hudson Line and 495.
Oh, I got it now.
Borough.
So this is my
Dudley.
property, this is that conservation land?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so this would
Yeah.
connect to that?
Yes.
Okay, this connects to the parcel behind my yard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
495, town of
Got it now.
Hudson. Back way out of Dudley going to Hudson. Dudley Road comes through here and goes all the way over to, this is,
To here, right? Dudley, and then this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Marlborough.
Yep,
yep.
Yeah.
yeah, because this is my yard right here, which,
Yeah.
but this piece of conservation land that we
Right.
already have.
Yeah.
I recognize
That's
it.
Marlborough Road going to, it got cut off, but the
Yeah.
town line's down there.
What's this land in here?
That's, let me get it.
Would that be rights?
Might
Let me
be.
look at it for a
It
second.
doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Curious.
I'm not good with maps.
We'll have Kyle pull up.
Oh, don't put all that pressure on me.
And
Oh, that's the,
Okay.
that's the project I did up there. That's the project that you can see from 495.
Yeah, so.
Right, so this is Green Acres, and this is the project you did at the bottom of
Correct.
Dudley.
Yep.
Right, and so it's the land, it's the hill.
It's in
In
between,
between
it's
two
also to the
projects.
far right, which abuts all of this. This is all woodland.
see.
This is woodland here, and this abuts the 495.
That's what?
You said
This
it's
this
the-
abuts 495.
Marlboro.
This is all, and this is all
Town
wooded.
of Berlin, so this parcel is this one. So it's this.
Sorry for the
Right here.
size, but it was the only way to show all the
Mark
surrounding
Rose.
properties.
12.93.
Yep.
Yeah, approximately
Yep.
13.
Yeah,
So Parker, oh,
right, so
yeah,
it's
so
in
that's
between the two
up to the
projects.
single-family homes that you built.
Correct, right, which is
In
what,
like-
which
in
is
the-
what this is.
Yep,
Yep, yeah,
I know it.
Now, this piece over here was a 7-acre parcel that I donated a long time ago. And then next to it is a series of like 4 parcels that the town took for tax title on the other end of Dudley.
yep. And
And
like
then-
half of that is a pond or something, right?
Yeah, there's a very little pieces of pond down there.
Yep,
This piece was 7 acres that I donated over here. And then I believe I gave this piece behind, and this little sliver here to make this all continuous through here, which none of these show up as green marks on your map in there.
I was gonna
So-
say, I didn't realize there was more down here. I knew about
Yeah.
this one that
Does
abutted
it
mine.
show up on
yard, but
Town
maps?
of Berlin is that little rectangle I think he's talking about, that little,
Yeah, this
Right
one.
here,
oh,
and this one.
closest to you, this thing.
Yeah.
That's right there.
Yeah.
Mark, did you
Right,
donate
that
these?
shows
No,
up.
that Berlin,
These ones as
Berlin,
well, or
Berlin,
is that-
Berlin.
Right, so that's all that.
Yep.
And
Those
then
came
this.
from,
So this one doesn't,
Okay, so
Carolyn.
No, that's
Those are
Levin,
Oh, are those
Karina,
the more
Karina,
recent-
Karina.
Those are the more recent ones that we got?
those are the ones I just,
Yeah.
that the deeds are
Okay.
in Maddie's pile.
Okay.
oh,
I did
Greystone.
this,
That's awesome.
this, and that.
Lidl.
And then you guys got that for tax
So the
title.
Lettle.
yeah, so
Yeah.
this,
And then there's
this
the
one.
emergency
is-
access, which comes up here, which
Yeah.
connects over to here, and then
Go
obviously you
Beacon.
can walk on the streets to get to
Banking.
Then
these
there's that.
parcels over
this
here.
thing.
Right, so this isn't actually
No.
conservation land?
No, it's Galbanican.
Gelbang.
Excuse my
Gelbankian.
murder of your name. Yeah.
All right.
Close though.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
I would pick those out of old memory. I thought
Yep.
the other one was
You
mine.
just click whatever we
Right,
want
and
to
so
know.
then this little piece we just got,
Lidl?
and this little piece we just got.
Lidl. Okay.
Little.
That's what I said.
Right,
Okay,
which, right.
cool.
Yeah. So, does anybody have any other questions?
No, but I'm pretty psyched. I didn't realize we got all those other pieces.
Yeah.
I brought those to the assessor's attention so they could update their map.
That's huge, yeah, because now
Yeah.
my yard backs up to all that now.
See?
Yeah, yeah.
Can
So-
catch owls.
Joanne goes,
Come over.
Joanne goes, excuse me,
Donate.
I'm gonna make another copy. Could you mark it up for me?
Say that again?
So the parcels you want to donate are but
So mine
land that's already in conservation?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The red is, inside the red is what I wanted to donate, and the stuff that's highlighted, with the exception of this one piece, I made one mistake, is in conservation.
Yep.
So is
Yeah, so, right, the connectivity that we look for. Yep.
Over back here, their driveway comes through my property, but my driveway's over here.
All right. So I would accept a motion,
Those are all, like, way back.
or does anybody want to make a motion to accept the land donation? Was it 13.9 acres? We'll say, I mean, 12.9, 12.93.
But that's the app, I don't know, whatever the
Right,
card
we'll
says,
say
is right?
plus or minus 13 acres, jeez. From Woodlot Realty Trust. Manager Mark.
Yep.
Margaret.
So moved.
second.
Any further discussion? Oh, actually, it does need to be contingent on the select board
Yes.
accepting
Yep.
the land.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, we can vote.
I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Mark.
I was approached years ago and I never followed through, but it's prime cell tower location. So you've prevented that.
There you go.
You guys can keep
yeah.
those, I get one.
All right.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for coming in. Under the wire.
Yeah.
I see the skid marks in the hall.
Yeah. I still got one more. I still got the appraisal to finish. Jay said he'd have it done for Friday for the meeting with the selectmen, and I still have the selectmen meeting. And then I still got to get the paperwork,
Yep.
through. So
Yep.
it's I guess that's the way I roll under pressure.
Some of us work best that way.
Yeah.
All right.
Have a good night, guys.
Thanks, you too.
You too. Say hi to Kathy and the boys.
Any-
Her house has been up and down. She's been battling a lot of stuff, but she's improving now.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Anything else? So,
Somebody.
Under land management, you have Highland Ridge Conservation Restriction.
Yep, so we did receive SVT's version with comments back, so I'll email that out to everyone to review and see
Okay.
if we have any feedback on it.
Okay, awesome. But that's finally seems to be moving along.
Yes.
So the
So-
CR is not approved yet, or it's not final?
Correct. Yep. But that doesn't involve them anymore. That's between us and the state and Sudbury Valley trustees.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on the agenda?
I have a little bit to say about community outreach.
Okay.
So far, we had arranged 2 trail events, and the first one was rained out, the second one, none of the kids showed up. So AJ and I had talked about it, so what we're gonna do is send an email to the principal at
Eloise wants to know, Peg, if she needs to show up next Monday as a notary.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
We're going to send an email to the principal of Tohoto and the principal, or the assistant principal of the junior high, the middle school rather, because they're the most involved, saying that we are very serious about this, and we would like to meet with them to see how we could finalize, get something going.
Okay, great. Yeah, I mean, if you don't send it in the next week, I'd wait until after
Yeah.
winter
Right.
break. So, and I mean, maybe even at this point, waiting
Yeah.
until after winter break is
I
the
was
better
thinking the
idea.
same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Well, any trail work would probably have to wait until March or April, I think.
Right, and yes,
Right. The other one, the student representative could start any time, but,
anytime they wanted. Yep,
right. So we're gonna pursue it.
excellent. All right, and thank you for continuing to pursue that.
Okay. You're welcome.
Anybody else have anything?
I guess, so our next meeting is January 3rd, so I
Mhm.
won't be here till
Okay.
April. So I don't know what we
Can make a
do.
little Zoom robot for you, like
Yeah.
a little
Right.
laptop, and you just put a little
Well,
screen.
Theoretically, if the hybrid stuff gets worked out.
Yeah, I can do that for sure.
Yep.
I didn't know I
Um,
can't sign anything, but I don't
Right.
mind attending or doing.
You can
it.
sign
Okay.
in the cloud.
Yeah.
Well, that's
no.
why I was hoping like they could
No.
figure something out, but
Oh.
not gonna happen.
Right, right, I mean, kind of just like last year, just take a leave of absence and,
All right, but
you
if
know.
we do have Zoom.
Yes, we'll let you know.
Okay, that would be
Yep.
great. Thank you.
I have a question, okay? CBA has alternate members,
Mhm.
and they just appointed another alternate member because one of their regular members wanted to take a leave.
Mhm.
Is there any way that we could have that, just in case?
I
have
don't
somebody
know. I think it has to do with the way the boards are legally set up.
Right.
And my guess would be that if we were legally set up to do that, we would have been doing it.
Right. I don't think we were, but,
Right.
would there be any way to change it? I don't know.
Can you,
Town vote.
yeah.
Oh.
I mean, well, we can ask Kristen kind of what might be involved
Mhm.
with
I can ask
that.
for Monday.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
You betcha.
One other thing.
Yes.
That field down across from the Tyler Farm that we own there, that beautiful field, the Aspet River's down the other side of it and everything else. I'd like to get, when I was a kid, that wall was always clean. That's a beautiful vista down there. We own that land. It's a gorgeous area. I've got a guy with a chipper and saws and help for a lousy $100 an hour for everything. Would go along and clean all along that wall. I hate to try to get the highway department to do it, because I think they're overloaded.
Right,
You know, and understaffed, and, you know, Freddie's right out straight, so, I think, 5 hours would clean that right up. If, could we, something to consider?
It's something to consider. Would he do it in the spring or do it now?
Do it whenever the money was available, yeah.
Right.
Donation money we could use.
We have donation money and we also do have some budget
Oh,
money.
yeah, we could use budget money.
Yeah.
We just need a quote, get a quote, and we can vote on it.
Okay, well, I mean, the verbal quote is $100 an hour.
Right,
and,
yeah, we just need something in writing for the file.
Okay.
Could we vote on something up to a certain amount, though?
But then we need insurance and a bunch
Right.
of stuff. Not Walter's way of doing things, but I wish we could do a handshake and but I think we need.
Does he have,
proper-
does he have insurance?
Yeah, I'll look, I'll get
Okay.
all that stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
If you get it all, yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's nice down there.
Yeah,
You'd need all that anyways.
yeah,
You'd need the certificate of insurance and whatever else needs to be done for bonding it to Berlin, so.
Right,
there's a
so we-
complete process.
right. Well, I mean.
Could we get away with
for-
it as a UTOP, use of town property?
Absolutely not.
No?
Because what happens if something happens?
It's on them, they were using the town property.
No, just get it done right.
Right.
away,
I tried.
get it done right.
Could we do it pending an approval by the selectmen after they get everything they need? Let's say at the next meeting, bring in all the papers and everything, and I say yes, and we get a,
Right,
I'm just, once
Right.
January comes, then it won't be until spring, which is, then the ground is soft.
right, well, we meet January 3rd, so if he can get all of his paperwork to us for then,
All right.
then we can
No
vote on it on the
problem, yeah.
3rd.
It'll be all right.
Yep.
So what do we need? Certificate of insurance?
Certificate of insurance.
And a W-9.
And a W-9, and a quote in writing.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. You sure?
It's a remind me.
Awesome, but that would be nice to have that cleaned up.
Yeah, it's a nice, I mean, it's ours, it's beautiful, might go
Yeah.
Yep,
take advantage of it.
yep, for sure.
Yeah, I have to say, I guess it's National Grid cut a tree down on Linden Street, along the stone wall on the property there, and it makes a big difference. You can actually see in there.
Yeah. Awesome.
They cut down what's the tree on 62? That's a
I
name.
saw that.
Holy McPollerson or whatever?
No, Woody,
Woody McCarracker or
something
whatever.
like that, yeah. I saw
Cut that
that.
tree down. That was sad. I was like, oh,
That big white oak out down by.
right by the farm.
The one that everybody kept
Everyone
hitting.
hits?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no.
Now they're just gonna go off into the woods.
No, down. Yeah, down.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tomato. Yeah, that was weird. I was like, oh, that tree had a name and everything.
I know.
And it's on Google.
It is.
Yeah. It has a Facebook group.
Tourist attraction.
Yeah.
Of course it does.
Oh, I didn't know it had a Facebook page.
All right, guys, anything else?
Make a motion to close the meeting today at 8 o'clock.
7:59.
7:59 on the beautiful December 6th, a Wednesday of 23.
Second.
It's non-debatable. I just will remind everybody that we are not meeting again until January 3rd.
Have a great holiday.
All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right.